Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about issue number 2 of Storm from the Ashes, written by Mirwa Ayadil and art by Mirwa Ayadil. But before we dive into the story, I want to ask you a favor. If you enjoy this video, please leave a like and a comment to help the channel grow. So with that said, this issue opens up off the coast of Nigeria, with 24 hours left on the clock in the dead of night. And when we get there, we see a cargo ship making its way through the water as sea pirates ride up alongside it. As they approached, the crew of the cargo ship issued a warning for the trespassers to fall back before any situation broke out. But regardless of the warnings put out, the pirates still pressed their attack, and unannounced to the crew of the cargo ship, the pirates were not packing little firearms by no means, because with a pull of a trigger, a rocket flew straight into the hull and violently rocked the vessel. So with all hope lost, out of the sky emerged Storm, the goddess of the elements herself, ready to help where it was needed. And as she flew down, we got a narration saying it is the sky that is her home, but its air has become grit in her lungs, for our goddess is dying, but yet she continues to save lives. So in a display of her mastery of power, Storm pulled an Iceman and froze the water under her feet as she dashed forward. But in order to save lives, Storm had to make the pirates pay for their actions, and regardless of her condition, the mighty Storm was still able to do her thing. And to put an end to everything, the goddess ended the conflict with a burst of lightning. So with the battle over, Storm landed on the deck of the ship, and as she stood there, she started to cough and spit up blood. Now, as that went down, one of the crew members was about to offer her a bag of water, but the captain of the vessel stopped him and then went on to say he understood that she traveled a great distance, and they should be showing her their hospitality and gratitude for delivering them from the pirates, but he would need to ask her to kindly vacate the vessel with immediate effect. For they didn't want her to accidentally ignite their fuel or any of their other flammable cargo with her mutant abilities. And just to drive his point home, the captain referenced that he had seen the Oklahoma news, and the last thing they wanted was to die at the hands of a mutant. And just as he said that, Storm turned her gaze up to him, just to see everything blurring out of focus as blood fell down her arm. Now with that event coming to an end, we then jump over to Storm returning back to her base of operations. And when we get there, we see how over the next few hours Storm cared for her animals all the way up to there being only 11 hours left on the clock. And after a long day of work, the goddess then made her way to her shower in hopes of relaxing and decompressing herself, but while she was in the water, she noticed that her hair was falling out. Now this scared the heck out of her, so in order to find out what was going on, Storm made her way to the middle of nowhere. And when she gets there, she was met by an average Joe, asking if he could see her ID or appointment note. So as Storm started to reach in her bag, the gate man pointed out how she looked like a member of the X-Men. So following that, Storm regretfully informs the man that she seems to have misplaced her Avengers ID, but after further investigation, Storm managed to locate it and handed it over. Once she was confirmed to be who she stated to be, the gate man told her to just walk through the gate, for it was an illusion designed to deter outsiders. So once Storm was in, she was shocked by what she witnessed, for inside the junkyard was actually a giant state-of-the-art hospital. And once she got inside, we saw a door open as a man walked in and introduced himself as Dr. Daye, which was her physician for today. And then he went on to say that he had her files, and as soon as he started to talk about her vitals, he instantly stopped dead in his tracks, for something caught his eye. And with a clear and calm voice, the doctor went on to ask if Storm was a member of the X-Men. Now to that statement, Storm corrected him by saying she is currently a member of the Avengers, but she was once a member of the X-Men. Now, with this bit of information disclosed, the doctor, with no hesitation, informed Storm that he doesn't treat members of the X-Men. Now at first Storm questioned if he had experience in mutant anatomy, to which he answered by saying he knew mutant physiology just fine. So with that option out the window, Storm then asks if it's just based on discrimination then. Now this surprised Storm, because she assumed that as a medical professional like himself, he would be beyond anti-mutant bigotry. But that was when he shot that mindset down by saying 80% of his patients are mutants, and on top of that, he treats them for free. So when the doctor said, "Trust me, this isn't about mutant discrimination, it's just about her being a former X-Men member," he was being honest. Following that, Storm was lost at the reason for his rule not to treat those who were within her former team, and then the goddess asked how have they wronged him. To which the doctor answered by saying, when the night nurse and himself started this hospital, Tony Stark cut them a huge check on behalf of the Avengers and Force Works. Dr. Strange consults here on behalf of the Defenders, Reed Richards supplies us with medical equipment on behalf of the Fantastic Four, Danny Rand donates on behalf of the Heroes for Hire, and even cheap Moon Knight pays good cash. Everyone chipped in, everyone except the X-Men. Because unlike everyone else, the X-Men had conquered death over on their island of Krakoa, and on top of that, they had their miracle pills. So with that put out there, Storm realized what exactly was going on. For once the X-Men unlocked the gift of resurrection, they left the rest of the superhero community to fend for themselves and didn't help nor aid them in keeping their medical needs in mind. But once the X-Men lost it all, now in this case, Storm is now wanting to seek the benefits of the same community they abandoned. So in an attempt to right that wrong, Storm put forth a donation in the name of her organization and asked the Doctor to accept said gift in the name of the X-Men. Now this gift was a ruby that belonged to her mother, and then she stated that they could have it if it meant more mutants could continue to benefit from their services for free. Following that symbolic gesture, the Doctor replied by saying he never thought this day would come, but the X-Men are welcome at their hospital anytime. With that situation settled, Storm couldn't help but to ask what exactly was he writing down, for he never asked her what manner of ailment had befallen her. That statement prompted the Doctor to reveal that Storm has a form of radiation syndrome. And the reason how he knows this was because the Doctor had a mutant ability to diagnose medical conditions. And due to said power, the Doctor did not stay long on Krakoa, because with the resurrection protocols in place, he wasn't really needed. So with the air cleared between the two mutants, the Doctor was left to give her the remaining of his findings, which was not what Storm wanted to hear, for the Doctor stated that her radiation syndrome was not medically treatable, but he did have a doctor that could help her, for this doctor was once a sorcerer supreme who specializes in dark magic. So if there was anyone out there that could save her, it would be him. And to make it worse, this doctor that he was sending her to only had 6 hours until the sickness took her. With the race against the clock on the next page, we see Storm flying with all her might to the specialist she needed to see as we get a narration for Storm. Now this narration states her universe is strange and filled with even stranger coincidences, especially when it's desperately trying to kill her. Because hours ago, Storm soared high above Nigeria, the very nation known as the heart of dark magic, the most powerful yet sinister form of magic that Storm needs to save her life. Now many dark spells taught in the covens of witches and the dens of sorcerers can trace their origins to this nation. Of all these dark magical spells, there is one that is the most known. After the fulfillment of several conditions, a certain word is uttered, and the victim of said spell plummets to their doom. A crude interpretation of this word is trash, but a better translation could also be ground. But even if one would not want to admit it, one knows what the word truly means, for what soars must one day fall. And on the next page, we see a spell strike Storm right out of the sky as she plummets to the ground below. And as she falls, the narrator continues to say, however, the undisputed master of dark magic resides not in Nigeria, not in Latveria, not in Dormammu's dark dimension, or in any nation or realm one would easily consider. For the location Storm found herself in was an unknown location in Haiti with just 10 minutes left on her clock. So with Storm facing certain doom, we then get a dialogue from the person Storm is trying to get to. And the person states, "You seek the assistance of a sorcerer, you are the descendant of a sheikh, you share blood with Agamotto, the first sorcerer supreme, yet human illness dominates you in a battle to the death. Unable to cast a simple defense spell, what would you do if your mutant abilities were taken from you? Prepare yourself, goddess, for you are in the presence of the gunner of gods, for the title of Houngan Supreme, Shaman Unmatched, Babalawo, Extraordinaire belongs to none other than Dr. Voodoo." And on the last page, we see Voodoo in all his glory standing before Storm. And with that said, this issue of Storm comes to an end. But anyway, down in the comment section below, let me know your thoughts about this issue and what predictions you could have moving forward. So with that established, I hope you enjoyed this video. And please remember to leave a like and a comment if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.